The long-term development of ZCash is quite interesting because after launch, we simply saw selling, right? ZCash tended to underperform Bitcoin, Ethereum. It tended to underperform the overall market. And because of that constant underperformance, we saw more and more people betting on falling prices. This has, of course, changed in the last few months. So here's what I'm referring to. This is ZCash relative to the altcoin market cap as a whole. How did ZCash do relative to all other alts? And the crash was of historic proportions. Even if we include the latest rally, ZCash still underperformed by 99.95%. This is a logarithmic chart. Have a look at how this looks like on a linear chart. It was a complete value destruction. And because of that long-term underperformance, many people bet on falling prices and made very constant gains, up until July of last year. Since then, ZCash outperformed the rest of the altcoin market by almost 2,000%. In the peak, even by more than 3,000%. But what's going to happen from here? Are we going to recover all the prior losses, or was this a short-term pump and dump? What I noticed when covering ZCash on this channel is that over time the interest tended to go down. As in, when you just look at the comparison of this blue line relative to the average video on this channel, at the beginning we did have outperformance, but then subsequent videos saw less and less relative viewership performance. So the interest in ZCash is coming down. That's one of the explanations why the price has dumped in the recent past by more than 50%. But it's not necessarily just the attention that's pushing down the price, right? If there's just less attention, why do we suddenly see the price deflate by that much? What I think is going on is that a lot of the pent up leverage in the asset through the perpetual futures, that's now going away. Because again, in the past, we saw all of that constant underperformance of ZCash creating all of the short positions. What then happened was a short squeeze. So the market makers bought up ZCash on the back, of course, of some positive news as well. Some very important people within crypto supported ZCash as a potential alternative to Bitcoin. But really, it's the deleveraging that currently pushes the price down. In the last 24 hours, we only saw 175 million worth of trading volume on the spot market. Compare this with the perpetual futures market, where we had close to 1 billion worth of trading volume. So more than 5 times the trading volume on spot. There was this massive liquidation event across all of crypto on the 10th of October, when altcoins in general fell by more than 50%. The matter just 1 hour to then recover again. Many people that were betting with leverage using perpetual futures, they lost all their money. Now this is the entire altcoin market. This is ZCash during the same time. Yes, we do have a bit of a liquidity move here, but it's nowhere near compared to what we have with the general altcoin market. So ZCash did something different. And again, that something is probably long-term short positions. There were more shorts in ZCash than longs. If you're getting value out of this content so far, then feel free to give this a like. You can also subscribe because I publish videos regularly. Of course, any support is very much appreciated. It will help the channel grow. And so yes, some shorts got liquidated, roughly 100 million worth of bets. But then subsequently, as ZCash went up in price, right, in yellow, we see the spot price. We are seeing mainly shorts getting liquidated now. So this is a classical short squeeze. When enough people bet on falling prices, there's an incentive by the market makers to buy up the token, to push up the spot price. It's the exact opposite what happened with GameStop. With GameStop, we had the professional investors, the hedge funds, they were betting on falling prices because the business model of GameStop wasn't really that great, right? There was a lot of selling of games via digital means. So the hedge funds, they bet on falling prices of a brick and mortar store, selling games just in physical form. And so then some retail investors saw all of that short interest. They wanted to take revenge, and they then assembled in a forum, assembled in Reddit, and bought up the stock in that case. So they pushed up the price of GME, force liquidating the hedge funds. And we are seeing the exact opposite happening for ZCash. Here it's the retail investor that was betting on falling prices, while the market makers bought the token on spot. And we can see this in the funding rates, right? They moved massively negative. It cost a lot of money to bet on falling prices of ZCash. this has now normalized somewhat. So what I think is going on here with the recent price decline is that the market makers that bought up ZCash to force liquidate the shorts, they are now gradually offloading their allocation again. Because they've made their money with the forced liquidations. They, of course, don't want to hold an altcoin forever either. The open interest on ZCash collapsed. It went from 1.4 billion all the way down to 800 million. And that, of course, has an impact on the ZCash price as well. There is positive correlation between the price of an asset and its open interest. When open interest is high, when a lot of people bet on an asset, then the asset in spot tends to go up as well. When there's less speculation around an asset, then the spot price tends to go down as well. And we've seen epic proportions of price speculation of open interest on ZCash. And that's simply now normalizing again. And so I think there is a good chance that ZCash will continue on its deleveraging, that it will continue to underperform the general altcoin market. This might just be the beginning. We've already seen how the short squeeze slowed down and now the market makers gradually sell off. This might be a good time to take some profit in ZCash because we are at the upper end of that trading range. If you're courageous, you might even consider betting on falling prices now, because now betting on falling prices is less of a popular trade. Of course, you do not want to do that when funding rates are very, very negative and it will cost a lot of money to do that. But right now, ZCash in its funding rates is at an equilibrium. Now, very few crypto YouTubers are willing to share their own performance. I've created a copy trading vault where I traded for the community members, the premium members of this channel, and the performance is shown here at the top. So we're trying to achieve performance independent of the macro environment. We are up so far 17.6% since July of this year, while Bitcoin during the same time frame went down by more than 22%. So we might be going sideways in Bitcoin, we are making money, we are going down, we keep our money. And the way we achieve this is with relative valuation trades. So we bet on altcoins to underperform that tend to have a rising supply, where the supply goes up faster than the demand. That then leads to those altcoins just long-term underperform versus the general market. So this is now Balancer relative to Ethereum. That's the Balancer supply chart. And we can simply just turn this around. So we just bet on Balancer going down relative to Ethereum. That's how we can make money in a market that overall might still be going down, but if the thing that we short goes down even further and at a quicker rate, that's then how we profit. And so there are two ways to benefit from this. You can simply just copy trade whatever I do. I always announce every trade that I make to the premium members in a channel in real time. Or you can join the next automated copy trading vault that will open again for deposits in January of 2026. That copy trading vault will be available to all annual subscribers. So I can simply start off with the monthly membership, and if you're starting to make first money with manual trading, you can also then swap to automated trading via yearly membership. I will, by the way, share my favorite trade once you join. So that's not Balancer anymore, it's something else. I will share that trade even if you just join on the monthly membership. And if you make money with that trade, then of course that's great. If you don't make money though, then I will refund the membership to you. So there's really no risk in just trying it out. If you don't make money with that first trade, I'll just send the $125 back. A link to Premium will pop up on the screen. It should be somewhere around here. Looking forward to seeing you on Premium. And again, thanks for watching. Cheers.